What's up, YouTube? This is a video today about the 2014 NBA Draft. I know it's a little ways off. There's still a lot that has to happen, but this is gonna be a little bit of a different video. It's not basically a mock draft, but kind of the top, couple prospects where they would fit the best in the NBA, in my opinion. All right, so kicking it straight off, starting with the man known as Jabari Parker. Now, personally, I believe whoever has the number one pick, it would be a mistake to choose Parker over Wiggins. Parker is the more skilled player right now, for sure. More polished player by far. He's the player that you know exactly what you're getting. So if you draft Jabari Parker, you know you're getting, I think in the NBA he'll probably be like an 18-6 type player. 18-6-3, 18-5-4, something like that. But I think he'll get you like 18 points in the NBA or whatever. Assuming that he's one of the first or second option on your team. Now in the draft, which the terrible teams will most likely be the ones that get him. It will be interesting because he will be the first. I think he's like a 4-time All-Star type player. I don't think he's that franchise-changing superstar. All right, like how I think Wiggins could potentially be. They have him going to Milwaukee. I'm good with that. I can see him going to Milwaukee, going to Utah. Whatever team has the worst record is the team that's going to get him, and they're going to be able to use him. All right, so it's not a big deal where he goes. Personally, I'd like to see him somehow end up in Chicago, but I doubt that would happen. But so that's for Parker. Going to the projected, and I'm using a mock draft from like a website or whatever. Going to Joel Embiid. All right, he's, according to this draft that I'm using, would be scheduled to go to the Utah Jazz. Now, I would really hate for that to happen. I think Joel Embiid would fit best with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I believe Embiid will be a very, 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 very good center in the NBA. Now, the center position in the NBA isn't incredibly great. You have Dwight Howard. You used to have Bynum. You don't even really have Bynum anymore. Bynum, fall off. He might not even be in the NBA much longer. Who knows? You have people. You also have the Pacers center, Hibbert. All right. You have a couple really talented centers like that. And then most of the center position is really becoming shot blocking, rebounding, and hustling. It seems like teams are going more towards the Joakim Noah, the Varejao, the Robin Lopez, those types of players to be, they're rim protectors. Also players who are mobile, who are tall and mobile, who can run the floor and, can get rebounds. So basically rebounds and blocks. Also, DeAndre Jordan is becoming that type of player as well. And I really like what DeAndre Jordan has changed his game into. But it seems like it's going away from the get post position, point guard kicks it in, do a post move and a hook shot. Those days seem like they're over. You don't see too many centers that are capable. Even what is widely considered the best center in the NBA, Dwight Howard, is really not that type of player. He's just kind of like another one of those run the floor, rebound, block, shot type centers. Because he's so big and physical, he gets points. But he's not a great, post. He doesn't have post moves, his counters. He doesn't have all this stuff. Even though they're trying hard to teach it to him, but, you don't see it that often in the game. But Joel Embiid is one of those players, one of those rare players, super raw, but has the footwork, has the athleticism, and has the height. So, and it seems like he's very willing to learn. And he's a great defender already. Like, he has very good instincts to get blocks and changes a bunch of shots. So he's already a rim protector. So I think he's ahead of the game. I think you get him in there with a good big man coach. Who knows what this guy could become. I'd like to see him go to Cleveland. I think with that team, with the right grooming, he could be a great center in the NBA. All right. Moving on to the man known as Andrew Wiggins, who in my opinion is going to be the best in this draft no matter what's going on right now. All right. They have him scheduled to go to the 76ers. I don't think he'll end up in the 76ers. I'd actually like to see Andrew Wiggins end up a Laker. Now, granted, before you start talking, I'm not a Laker fan by any stretch of the imagination. I don't even like the Lakers. All right. But I do like the Wiggins character. And I'm looking at the Lakers team. All right. They have Kobe. Kobe has 2 more seasons left over. They're going to need somebody else to take the mantle. Okay. You have somebody like Andrew Wiggins, who I think at his floor, he's Sean Marion. I ultimately think he's going to be better than Sean Marion. I think he's going to be a superstar, borderline superstar in the NBA for years to come. But if he does not reach his full potential, I believe at the very least he's going to be Sean Marion. Now, granted, that's not a swipe at Sean Marion. Sean Marion had a very great career. But if you think about it, what was Sean Marion good at? He was a very good athlete. You know, he was a very, very good defender. And he was, good in transition and things of that nature. If you look at Andrew Wiggins now, I think, he has the size, the length, the athleticism. He's already a good defender. I think he's going to get better the more he works at it. And, he's thriving in an up and down game. Now, if he goes to a D'Antoni system, they wouldn't need a point guard. I think he would be very, very effective under D'Antoni. And I know D'Antoni has to be looking at him and like, what I could do with this guy. So, I like to see him go to the Lakers. The Lakers are having a bad season. And one thing we know about the NBA, when the money franchises in the NBA have bad seasons, they tend to rebound quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised if somehow the Lakers ended up tanking this season and ended up with a top 3 pick in the draft. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So I'd like to see Andrew Wiggins go to the Lakers. And next we have the Denver Nuggets. So, we have Julius Randle, who's projected to go to the Denver Nuggets. I don't think that's going to happen. I actually think Julius Randle would be the perfect fit in Sacramento. Now, Sacramento is a team that always has, the high draft picks and things of that nature. And I didn't love Sacramento before the season. I was thinking they're just like a wasteland for college athletes or whatever. But they're taking steps in the right direction. I think the scare that Seattle gave them put some fire underneath them. Because they're slowly pulling that team into, I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but they're slowly pulling that team into contention. So, right now, you're looking at DeMarcus Cousins, which DeMarcus Cousins has a lot of work to do. A whole lot of work to do. He's very skilled. He has some athleticism. The attitude is just unnecessary. I know, you want to be a big guy, you want to be nasty and all this stuff, but no one has time for, not wanting to shake hands. All the yelling at your teammates, chewing your teammates out on the court. It's not leadership in that sense. He just has to find somewhere, take a boxing in the off season and, take that out on a speed bag or something. No one has time for that on the court. Nobody wants to play with you. All right? But aside from that, incredibly talented guy. You have Rudy Gay they just traded for. So, he's a borderline star type player. I think he has an all-star appearance. You have Isaiah Thomas. Now, I like Isaiah Thomas. He is an undersized point guard. But the kid is good. I've been watching a lot of him. If not games, I've been watching a lot of where he gets his baskets. I really like him as a point guard. a lot. I think he has a bright future. And then you have McLemore. I really like what he brings to the table. The reason why is he's a shooting guard. He's like the prototypical shooting guard. I did think he was going to be a little bit bigger, but it's not that big of a deal. He gets all his points off the ball, and that's what I like about his game, because that's a shooting guard. From what I see, I haven't seen enough to know exactly how he is on defense, but I think he's a good enough defender, and I think he'll get better on defense as time goes. I like that he's a good catch and shooter, and he's very athletic. that's the prototypical shooting guard, really. So I like that team that they're pulling together. I think if they were to draft Julius Randle and put him smack dab as that power forward, I think that's the missing piece. I don't love their coach. I do think I do wish they would get another coach, but that starting five: Isaiah Thomas, McLemore, Rudy Gay, and Julius Randle, and DeMarcus Cousins. If they could somehow get some kind of team chemistry and come together, that would be a pretty legitimate team in the West over time. And those are all young pieces too. So I think you would see something similar to Oklahoma City or something of that nature if that were to happen. So the next person is the guy Dante Exum. This guy's from Australia. I've seen tape on him. I haven't seen any Australian games or whatever. From what I understand, he's very talented. He's like a tall point guard, another one of those Michael Carter Williams type players or whatever, I guess. Except he looks like he's more of a scorer as well as a distributor. He's 6'6", point guard. I could see him going to like Denver or something like that, depending on the record. I don't think he's going to be relevant for a couple of years, though. Honestly, if his game does come with time, I think it'll be in a season or two. I don't think it'll be right away. And then you have the man known as Marcus Smart. He's one of my favorite players in college right now. Outstanding player, outstanding point guard. He actually reminds me a lot of Darren Williams when Darren Williams was, the good Darren Williams, not necessarily. Even though Darren Williams is still good, but you know what I mean. Darren Williams when he was at his best. That's who Marcus Smart reminds me of. Bigger point guard, but still has the pass first mentality, even though he's a scorer. If he went to New York, it would be great for New York. But I honestly think this guy, if you have a team that does not have a point guard right now, I don't think anybody should draft him to play the two. I think that'll be a complete waste of his talent. But if you're a team and you don't have a point guard, I think Marcus Smart would fit perfectly with your team. And I think with the highest pick he can go, after the Wiggins, Embiid, Parker, and Randle, I think this guy's the next best thing in that draft. And then you have Aaron Gordon. I think Aaron Gordon is the one who's going to end up in Utah. All right. I think even though they have a lot of front court players anyway, I think somehow Aaron Gordon is going to be the odd man out that ends up with the Utah Jazz. Now, I don't root for the Utah Jazz. I don't like the Utah Jazz because I'm a Rockets fan, obviously. But that's where I think Aaron Gordon is going to come. I think he's going to be a little underrated in the draft. I think he's better than his numbers are going to show. He's on a really good team, and he's, taking his spots in the offense, which is a good sign for somebody who was highly recruited as him. But I think he's going to end up in Utah. I don't think he's going to go in the top 5. I think he's going to go 7, 8 or something in the late top 10 or whatever. But yeah, those are all the ones I want to talk about for now. I may do another video later talking about some of the later picks and where they would fit the best at. But if you disagree with my comments, leave your comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the page. Let me know what you think. All right, see you next time.